Tonight, I don't want to talk about success. I don't want to talk about strength. I want to talk about something quieter, something that doesn't make noise but changes everything. She changed everything, not in a dramatic way, not with fireworks, but with presence, with patience, with the kind of love that doesn't demand attention, it simply stays. There was a time when the world felt loud and empty at the same time. I was moving forward, but I didn't feel alive. Smiling, but not really feeling. Breathing, but not truly living. And then she walked in, not to rescue me, not to fix me, but to remind me. She reminded me that love isn't about possession, it's about peace. It's about finding someone who sees the cracks in you and doesn't try to cover them, just holds your hand through them. She changed the way I look at mornings, the way I understand silence, the way I define strength, because real strength isn't being untouchable. It's allowing yourself to be seen. And when someone sees you fully and stays, that changes everything. This isn't just a love story. It's a story about healing, about discovering that sometimes the greatest transformation doesn't come from ambition or power. It comes from love. I used to think change came from struggle, from long nights, from battles no one saw. I thought growth was supposed to hurt, that becoming stronger meant building walls so high nothing could reach you. I wore my independence like armor. I convinced myself I didn't need anyone, that needing someone was weakness, that love was something beautiful. Yes, but dangerous. Then she walked into my life, not like a storm, not like a sudden explosion of light. She came quietly, softly, like a calm breath after years of holding one in. I didn't even realize it at first. I thought she was just passing through, just another chapter, just another conversation that would fade into memory. But she stayed, and somehow without trying to, she changed everything. She changed the way I see mornings. Before her, mornings were just another obligation, another race against time, another reminder that the world moves whether you're ready or not. But with her, mornings felt different. There was a warmth in them, a reason to wake up slowly, a reason to smile before the day even began. It wasn't about grand gestures. It was about knowing someone out there was thinking of me, about feeling connected before the world tried to pull us apart. She changed the way I understand silence. I used to fear silence. Silence meant loneliness. It meant overthinking. It meant facing parts of myself I didn't want to see. But with her, silence became sacred. We could sit together without speaking, and it felt full, not empty, full of understanding, full of peace, full of something that didn't need words to survive. She made me realize that love isn't about filling space with noise. It's about creating space where both people can breathe. Before her, I thought love had to be intense to be real, dramatic, passionate in a way that burned. I believed if it didn't hurt a little, it wasn't deep enough. But she showed me something different. She showed me that love can be gentle and still be powerful, that it can feel safe and still be life changing, that the strongest kind of love doesn't shake your world, it steadies it. She didn't try to fix me. That's what surprised me the most. She saw my flaws. She saw the parts of me I tried to hide, the doubts, the scars, the fears I kept locked behind casual smiles and quiet confidence. She saw the exhaustion behind my strength, the loneliness behind my independence. And she didn't run. She didn't try to reshape me into something easier to love. She simply stayed. And sometimes staying is the loudest form of love. She changed the way I see myself. For a long time, I only saw what I lacked. I measured myself by what I hadn't achieved, by the ways I had failed, by the relationships that didn't last. I carried old disappointments like they defined me, but she looked at me differently. She spoke to me like I was already enough, like I wasn't a project, like I wasn't broken. And slowly, I started to believe her, not because she forced me to, not because she repeated it endlessly, but because the way she treated me made it impossible not to feel valued. She listened to me like my words mattered. She looked at me like I was worth understanding. She held my hand like she wasn't afraid of where I had been. She changed my definition of strength. I used to think strength was about enduring alone, about carrying everything without asking for help, about proving that nothing could break me. But she taught me that strength is allowing yourself to be vulnerable. It's saying, I'm not okay, and trusting that someone won't walk away. It's letting someone see your tears and not apologizing for them. There were nights when I felt overwhelmed by life, by responsibilities, by expectations, by the quiet pressure to always be composed. And instead of telling me to toughen up, she would sit beside me. She would remind me that it's okay to feel, that it's okay to be human, that I don't have to fight every battle alone. She didn't make me weaker, she made me braver. Braver to open up, braver to trust, braver to love without calculating the risk every second. She changed the way I love. Before her, I loved carefully. I kept parts of myself reserved, just in case it ended, just in case I had to leave, just in case I got hurt. I thought protecting my heart meant giving only half of it, but loving her made me realize that half love isn't love at all, it's fear. With her, I wanted to give fully, not recklessly, not blindly, but honestly. I wanted her to know my thoughts. At 2 a.m., I wanted her to hear my dreams and my doubts. I wanted to share my silence and my laughter. I didn't want to hold back. She changed the way I see the future. For a long time, the future felt like a solo journey. I imagined success alone. I imagined peace alone. I imagined standing at the top of whatever mountain I was climbing, alone. But she shifted that picture. Suddenly, the future wasn't about individual victories. It was about shared moments, about building something together, about waking up years from now and still choosing each other. She made me realize that love isn't a distraction from ambition, it's a foundation for it. When you feel supported, you move differently. When you feel understood, you dream bigger. When you know someone believes in you, you stop doubting every step. She changed my fears. I used to be afraid of losing control, afraid of loving too deeply, afraid of giving someone the power to hurt me. But loving her made me understand something. Vulnerability isn't giving someone a weapon, it's giving them trust. And trust is not weakness, it's courage. Yes, loving her meant accepting the possibility of pain, but it also meant experiencing a kind of joy I had never known, a kind of peace I didn't think was possible. And for the first time, the joy outweighed the fear. She changed the way I look at her. At first, I admired her for her kindness, for her laughter, for the way she could light up a room without trying. But the more I knew her, the more I saw her depth, her quiet strength, her resilience. The battles she fought without announcing them, the compassion she carried even when she was tired. Loving her wasn't just about how she made me feel, it was about who she is, about respecting her, about wanting to protect her peace the way she protected mine. She changed the rhythm of my life. Before her, everything felt rushed, fast, always moving, always chasing. But she slowed me down in the best way. She taught me to appreciate small moments, to value conversations over distractions, to put my phone down and really be present, to listen, to notice. With her, time felt different. It wasn't something to beat. It was something to share. She changed everything, not by demanding it, not by forcing it, but by loving me in a way that made change inevitable. She didn't just enter my life. She became part of it, part of my thoughts, part of my growth, part of my healing. And maybe the most beautiful thing about it all is this: she didn't try to change me. She just loved me. And somehow, that was enough to change everything. I used to believe that destiny was something dramatic, something loud, something that arrived with clear signs and undeniable certainty. I thought if something was meant to change my life, I would recognize it instantly. There would be music in the background, there would be a moment where everything slowed down and I would know. But when she came into my life, there was no dramatic soundtrack, no lightning in the sky, no grand announcement that everything was about to shift. There was just her. Simple, real, present. And somehow, that was more powerful than anything loud could have been. She didn't enter my life trying to transform it. She wasn't trying to rewrite my story. She wasn't trying to become the center of my world. She was just being herself, honest, open, quietly strong. And that authenticity, it reached places inside me I didn't even know were closed. Before her, I had built a life that looked stable from the outside. I had goals, I had direction, I had routines that kept me moving forward. But inside, there was something missing: a softness, a sense of belonging. I was surviving well, but I wasn't fully alive. She didn't point that out. She didn't criticize the way I was living. She simply showed me another way by the way she loved. The first thing she changed was the way I experienced connection. I had known attraction before. I had known chemistry. I had known conversations that lasted until midnight and ended in promises that faded by morning. But with her, it was different. There was depth. There was patience. There was an understanding that didn't rush to conclusions. She listened, not just to respond, but to understand. When I spoke about my fears, she didn't dismiss them. When I shared my dreams, she didn't laugh at how big they sounded. She held my words carefully, like they mattered. And when someone treats your thoughts like they matter, you start to believe that you matter too. She changed the way I see love. I used to think love was about intensity, about passion that overwhelms you. about losing sleep and losing control. And yes, there is beauty in that fire, but fire alone can burn everything down. She showed me a different kind of love, one that feels like warmth instead of flames, a love that doesn't consume you but steadies you, a love that doesn't demand constant proof but quietly reassures you every day. With her, I didn't feel like I had to perform. I didn't feel like I had to impress. I didn't feel like I had to be extraordinary to be worthy. I could just be myself, flawed, uncertain, learning, and it was enough. That changed everything. Because when you stop performing, you start living honestly. She changed the way I handle conflict. Before her, disagreements felt like threats. I saw arguments as cracks in the foundation, as signs that something was failing. So I would either withdraw or defend myself fiercely. I didn't know how to stay calm when emotions rose, but she approached conflict differently. She didn't raise her voice to overpower mine. She didn't use my past mistakes as weapons. She spoke with clarity, with intention. She wanted to solve, not to win. And slowly, I learned that love isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about navigating it with respect. It's about choosing each other even when it's uncomfortable. It's about saying we're on the same side, even when we disagree. She changed the way I view vulnerability. For years, I believed that vulnerability was a liability. If people saw too much, they could hurt you more deeply. So I kept certain stories to myself, certain wounds, certain insecurities. But she had a way of creating safety, not by demanding I open up, but by showing me that she could handle my truth. When I finally told her about the things that shaped me, the disappointments, the betrayals, the self doubt, she didn't look at me differently. She didn't see me as damaged, she saw me as human. And in that moment, something inside me softened. I realized that being loved while fully known is one of the most powerful experiences in the world. She changed the way I think about time. Before her, I was always chasing something, the next achievement, the next milestone, the next proof that I was moving forward. My mind lived in the future. I rarely allowed myself to simply exist in the present. But with her, moments felt complete on their own. A quiet evening together, a shared laugh over something small, a simple walk where nothing extraordinary happened. She taught me that life isn't just about the big highlights, it's about the quiet in between spaces, the everyday details that build a lifetime. She changed the way I treat her. Loving her made me more intentional. I started paying attention to the things that mattered to her, the way she likes her coffee, the songs that calm her, the topics that light up her eyes when she talks about them. I wanted to know her deeply, not just the surface version, because she deserved that kind of attention. She changed my priorities, not in a way that made me abandon my goals, but in a way that made me rethink what truly matters. Success without someone to share it with felt incomplete. Achievements felt hollow if I couldn't turn to her and see pride in her eyes. She reminded me that love isn't a distraction from purpose, it's part of it. She changed my fears about the future. Commitment used to feel heavy to me, permanent, risky. I was afraid of promising something I might not be able to sustain, afraid of failing someone who trusted me. But with her, commitment didn't feel like a cage. It felt like a choice I wanted to make every day. Not because I had to, but because I couldn't imagine choosing differently. She changed the way I see her strength. At first, I saw her kindness, her gentleness, but over time, I saw the steel beneath it, the resilience that came from her own struggles, the courage it took for her to love openly in a world that often rewards indifference. She wasn't fragile. She was brave. And loving someone brave challenges you to be brave too. She changed how I show affection. I used to assume love was understood without needing constant reassurance, but she taught me that words matter. That expressing appreciation isn't unnecessary, it's essential. That telling someone you value them doesn't weaken you. So I began saying it more. I began showing it more through small gestures, through presence, through consistency. She changed the way I look at myself when I'm alone. Even when she's not physically beside me, the way she sees me stays with me. Her belief in me echoes in moments of doubt. Her voice reminds me of my worth when I forget. She didn't just change how I feel when I'm with her, she changed how I feel about myself when I'm not. She changed my understanding of partnership. It's not about losing yourself, it's not about merging into one indistinguishable identity. It's about standing side by side, two complete individuals choosing to walk the same path. With her, I don't feel smaller. I feel expanded. She challenges me. She questions me. She encourages me to grow. Not because she's dissatisfied, but because music. She sees potential. She changed what home means to me. Home used to be a place, a physical space where I could rest. But now home is her presence. It's the way my shoulders relax when she's near. It's the comfort of knowing I can be unguarded. She changed everything, not by rewriting my personality, not by demanding sacrifices that erased who I am, but by loving me in a way that revealed who I can be. When I look back at the version of myself before her, I don't see someone incomplete. I see someone who hadn't yet experienced this kind of love. And now, I can't imagine going back to that emotional distance, to that guarded existence, because she taught me that love isn't about losing control. It's about finding trust. It's about finding someone whose presence makes you softer without making you weaker. Someone whose love makes you stronger without making you harder. Music. She didn't change my entire world overnight. She changed my heart. And when your heart changes, everything else follows.